Hello, ladies. Come on in. Good to see everyone. We'll get started here very soon when you come on in. Let me know you're here. Hey, Mary B. How about your quarterback? Hey, Deb. Hey, April. Hello, everyone. Nice to see everybody this evening. I'm excited about our project this evening. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We'll do a little chatting and then get started here. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is Tuesday night. And hey, Jean. And it is time for another Facebook Live with the Wexford Stamper. I'm Barbara Reed, the Wexford Stamper, and I'm very, very excited to be here to show you my latest Christmas or my holiday project. So let me go ahead and talk a little bit about what we're going to be using today. Hello, Cheryl. For this, we're going to be using let me find my picture. Picture. Oh, here it is. We're going to be using the Painted Christmas. Okay, this is one of my favorites. And I have been using this an awful lot during the time that I have been using my products. This is one that has been really, really on my list. So this is a great one that I really, really love to use. Let's look a little bit more specifically at some of the other, the more individual projects so we can see that. All right, the first thing we'll talk about is I'm going to be using some of the fabulous DSP from the Painted Christmas suite. Love it. Such beautiful, beautiful patterns. Love the colors. So I will be using that. Now this set has actually two bundles, and a bundle is a stamp set and a die set together. Specifically, I'm going to probably be using more of the dies. So I'm going to be using this die that comes with the suite, mostly just to cut out some of the evergreen sprigs there and use them on my project. So the one die on the right is the one I used, and the die is the size of a card front, and it's gorgeous if you use it on a card. But tonight I just ran it through the die cutter and just pulled some sprigs and trimmed some sprigs off for the project. The other one I used is this die set, which comes with the suite as well. For this one, I used one of the labels, and I used one of the little leaves and cut that out for the box. So I've been getting my money's worth definitely out of this set. So I hope you enjoy this as much as I do this project. And lastly, my sentiment I actually got from an oldie but goodie. I used this one a couple months back for our gingerbread and peppermint cards. And I used the Wishing You a Merry Christmas. So that will be used as well. So I think that is all. And don't forget, don't worry about writing down any directions or anything. You know that everything will be on my blog as soon as we're finished this evening. And that is www.thewexfordstamper.blogspot.com. And all the information you need will be there, including a downloadable PDF. If you want the directions as a hard copy, we will have them right there for you. So that is all the information I need to give you for now. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm calling my new project a skinny pouch. Okay, and this is how it looks, and that's why we call it skinny. All right, and it opens here, and it actually has a magnetic closure. Okay, so one magnet is here underneath the paper, and then the other one is here on the inside of the box, and it closes the box really nicely. Gives it a real kind of professional look. And here you can see some of the things that I cut out using the die machine. And then here is the stamp I used. And then I used a little bit of the elegant trim. Isn't that cute? Now, you can really choose anything you like to go in there. It's kind of skinny, but it's pretty deep in there. You could get a lot of goodies in there. But I chose these cute little Ghirardelli snowmen. They come in 3 different flavors: milk chocolate caramel, and peppermint bark. You know I have to try out all the holiday candies, and I will definitely give these a thumbs up. They are quite delicious. And you can easily fit 3 of them in here. Probably more, but I put 3 in there, and it closes and stays closed and doesn't buckle. So that's a really quick, fun project. So let's go ahead and get started. Remember, as I told you, if you go to my blog, shortly after this video is over, you will find a fabulous PDF that you can go ahead and download and print or save to your iPad. And this is a great reference to come to if you like to have that hard copy nearby so that you can pull this out, because this is a great project for really any holiday. You could make this into any holiday. This would be great for a birthday. It would be great for a table favor, for a party. So all different kinds of ideas with this. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to pull out a piece of the Pear Pizzazz paper cardstock. Yes, they are in. I had to test them to make sure, you know. Taking one for the team. Got to make sure they're good before I recommend them. And this piece is cut at 8 by 11. So your 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, you're just going to cut off a little 1/2 inch strip along the edge. So this is 8 by 11. I'm going to go ahead and bring up my scoring board. Hope everyone is having a great week as we, oh good, I'm glad, Jean. As we get closer and closer here to Christmas, I will talk a little bit about some events that I have coming up at the end. But I'm excited about things that are coming up. All right, on the 11-inch side, that's our long side, I'm going to score at 1, 5 1/4, 6 1/4, 10 1/2. Okay, 1, 5 1/4, 6 1/4, 10 1/2. I'm going to turn it on the short side. And I'm going to score it at 1 and 5 1/2. Okay, now we're going to go back to the long side for just a second. And with the skinny little rectangle here along the right-hand side, we're going to do some partial scoring. Okay, we are just going to help with the box so that we create this little pleat here so the box closes a little neater and it doesn't kind of look all squashy on the sides. So it just works a little better since it's so skinny. The pleat kind of tells the paper what to do instead of it doing whatever it wants, and sometimes that can be not a good thing. So we need to tell the paper what we want it to do. All right, so with this thin rectangle here on the right hand side, we're going to do some partial scores at 1/2. And what we're really doing is we're going halfway down the middle of those 2 thinner panels, because those are going to be the sides. So here's at 1/2. I'm going to go all the way down and about 3/4 inch above the bottom horizontal score line here. Let me raise it up a little bit here. Okay, here's our bottom horizontal score line. This is actually going to create the bottom of the bag. Okay, you're going to have your score, partial score, go to within 3/4 inch of that bottom score line. Okay, then we're going to move on over and we're going to do the same thing again over here at 5 3/4. Going to score all the way down to about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom horizontal line. All right, that's it. Let's go ahead and move the scoring board away. I'm going to go ahead and grab my bone folder and let's go ahead and crease these score lines very well. Whoops, stuff's falling on me here. And let's see, you do not have to fold and crease those partial score lines, so don't worry about those. As we put the pouch together, they're going to kind of figure it out themselves. So there's really no need to fold and crease the partial score lines. All the other ones though. All right, so there we have it. We're all ready with that. Now I'm going to grab my template here so you have an idea of how this is going to go. All right, so here is my template, and you can kind of see the design of the box. Here is going to be our big flap. That's going to be our lid of our box that flops over and has the magnet on it. Here is the thin edge, which we're going to put glue on, and that's going to adhere to the other side. And then here we have our two sides with the partial scores. So we want this paper to look just like this one. Pretty easy. All right, so we're over here on the side with the thin rectangle, and we're going to take off the tiny one on the bottom, just cutting up to the first horizontal, and then the medium-sized one on the top. Okay, so all we want for this thin centerpiece is this thin side piece is the center one there. That's the part we are going to be adhering to make the box. All right, now let's go down. Let's stay at this bottom section here, and we're going to cut out these flaps at the bottom. So we're going to cut up to the first horizontal score line and then give those a little bit of a cut there. And they're going to tuck inside the bottom of our box. All right, now up here on the top, this flap here is going to stay. Everything else up here, we're getting rid of. All right, so I'm going to cut. Now, when I cut here, I'm cutting on the right-hand side of the score line. So it kind of takes it away so it's not left on my project. Just really, really close to it. But you want to cut a little tiny bit to the right of that line, just so you have a nice smooth finish on your box all the way to here. Okay, same thing here. This time you want to cut that off, so you're going to cut to the left-hand side of the score line, just so you have a nice smooth finish there. Okay, so that is all the cutting for this box. Pretty easy. Okay, now this is a step you don't have to do, but you know me, I love my little corner rounder here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in, let's put our template away. I'm going to go ahead and bring this in here, and I'm going to punch and round just the flaps on the lid or the top that's going to be coming over. All right. Okay, now we're getting close here. Next thing we want to do is we're going to bring in our piece of designer series paper, if we can find it. This is not it. This one looks too small. Okay. It's here somewhere. That's what I always say. Okay, let me go. I'm going to go grab the paper. Hold on. This happens. We're going with plan B. Let's see. Where's the paper? Okay. We're looking for the paper. Oh, dear. Okay. Where is that paper? Okay. Oh, goodness. I can't believe I lost this piece of paper. I know I cut it. Oh, see, I'm not going crazy. There it is. Okay. So sorry, guys. But this is live TV. You kind of get what you get, right? Okay, this piece of designer series paper, this is from the Painted Christmas, and this was a pattern I really hadn't used with a lot of my other projects. So I had it left, and I thought, I'm going to use it up on these little pouches. All right, so this piece is cut at 2 1/4 by 4 inches. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my corner rounder. And I'm going to go ahead and just do one side of this piece, like that. All right, let's get rid of that corner rounder. All right, now let's talk about our little magnets. Okay, I've used these a lot this year. I just love using the magnets for closures. They are tiny, tiny little magnets. They are 1 millimeter by 8 millimeters, and they are strong. Okay, it's amazing how strong they are for how small they are. Okay, I have linked these magnets in several of my blog posts. So if you look back in my blog posts, you should be able to find the link to the Amazon link that I found them on. If you need help with that and can't find them, just message me and I'll send you the link. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get ready and work with those. Now we need 2 of those. Okay, the first one we put on, we're actually going to be putting on before we even assemble the box. Okay, so I'm going to use one of the magnets and I'm going to grab my glue dots and I'm going to put the magnet right on top of one of the dots, pull it off, and then put this in the center of the front flap. Maybe not as far back to make the center of the whole rectangle, but center of the vertical sides, and then maybe 1 inch in from the end. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our piece of designer series paper right over it. Okay, I like to hide the magnets as much as I can because I think it just makes the project look a little fancier. Now the second magnet that I'm going to use, we can't really hide that one because we don't have any paper on the bottom portion of the pouch, but that's okay. All right, so there we have it. We have the flap put together now with the magnet under the paper. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put the pouch together. So I'm going to turn it back over so that we're looking at the inside of the box. I'm going to fold it over and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this. Okay, our tiny skinny rectangle there. And then I'm just going to fold over the other side of the box. And if you're measuring correctly, this should land right in the right spot where you want it to be. And I found this is just an easier way to get a nice square box than rather trying to hold it up and put it together. Okay, so there we have it. The box now is together. We're going to turn it over, and now we're going to do the bottom of the box. Okay, since this is the front here, then this flap will be the last flap to come down. See, this is the front of the box. So the bottom, this front bottom flap is the last one to go down, just to have that nice smooth edge on the front. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my glue and I'm going to go ahead and put that right across there. Okay, and I'm going to fold it down. And you'll want to line up the edges and just push down on that. Okay, I'm going to turn it over. All right, so now it's together. So what I do here now is I just very carefully start pinching in the sides of the box. I don't have You could put the 2 score lines to the corners there if you want, but I didn't really feel like that was necessary. Okay, now we're going to go ahead. I'm going to squeeze a little bit on the side, and now we're going to put on our last magnet. So I'm going to grab this magnet here, and I'm just going to let it go, and it finds its way right to the first magnet. And then I'm going to grab my glue dots and my pick tool, and I'm going to put a glue dot right on the side of the magnet that is away from the side that's attracting to the other. All right. Then I'm just going to squeeze the top of the pouch closed and just flap the flap over. Fold the flap over. Then I'm going to put a little bit of extra pressure right there against where the magnet is, and that's going to have the second magnet adhere itself to the body of the pouch. Okay, so now you have it right where you need it. That's a great way to be able to tell exactly where it needs to go. So now it opens and closes very easily, and everything is lined up nice and straight. All right, so all we have left now is to make our little embellishment that we have on the corner of the box. Let me show you how that looks. Okay, as I said, I used the die from the Painted Christmas dies, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my Evening Evergreen, and I'm going to use the Wishing You a Merry Christmas sentiment from my Peppermint and Gingerbread stamp set. And there we go with that. So awesome how everything just matches. It makes it so easy. All right, now let's grab those last couple of things here. Here is a piece of mistletoe. I cut that out with the soft succulent. And then here are some of the pieces from that die. Remember it was a background die with all the little pieces of evergreen sprigs. I just went around and kind of trimmed them off from around the edges. And now I have all these little sprigs that I can use for all my pouches that I make. So it's real easy. I went through maybe twice so I'd have enough for the project. Okay, now what I did, I tried to kind of mimic the things I saw on the paper. So I wanted to make sure I had a leafy element and then that I also had the evergreen element. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I noticed that this little piece didn't come out of there. There we go. Okay, what I did feel like I had to do is I cut one set of leaves off the bottom of the mistletoe. It just was a little too long for this die cut, so I cut it off, and that fits a lot better on the side there. Then I just put a little bit of glue. Come on, glue. It's almost time to get out a new one. I've been working here in the craft room a lot since I have my open house coming up this weekend. Then I put my little piece of pine or greenery, and I put that right on top. Okay, and then the final thing I did there is I made a little bow using the Elegant Trim. That is in the annual catalog. Okay, and you in the trim you get a roll of the silver and a roll of the gold trim. So it's just wonderful. I've noticed that I use the gold a lot more, so I said, hey, time to use the silver. Okay, got out my glue dots, put the bow right on that glue dot where the knot is, and then I just put it kind of right in the center of the little element I put over there. Okay, the last thing I did on this before I put it on is I added a little rhinestone. Trying to do more rhinestones during the holidays, of course. I'm going to use the biggest one here. And I'm just going to put that right there on the edge, just to kind of finish it off. All right, now let's go ahead and I'm going to turn that over. And I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back. And I chose to put mine down here on the bottom right-hand corner. I've also made the pouch where I put the element with the sentiment right here on the flap, so it opens and closes and that goes up and down. It's really kind of what your preference is. And it would be really helpful if I took the backings off these so it would stick. Yes. Okay. And I put this just right down here towards the bottom. And there you have it. How easy is that? Isn't that just gorgeous? And so easy. And you can see, since I did the little scoring on the sides, that really makes those sides come together much more cleanly. So that's a good tip to remember when you have such a thin side like that. You don't want the paper to do whatever it wants over there. So that is, I know, very, very easy, isn't it? Yep. So that is tonight's project. I hope you love it. And I just wanted to make you aware of some events coming up. I do have a event coming up in January. And, oh, the date. I already posted the a Facebook event with it. Here it is. Okay, it is the Friday, January 28th, and it is the Penguin Playmate Sampler. This is a 9x9 sampler, and you get to make the sampler without the frame, although I can give you links to where you can get the frames. It is just a standard Michaels frame, so very easy to find it. But in addition to the sampler, you're also going to get to make some thank you notes and a little card box to go with it. Because in the January, we may have some thank you notes that we need to write for some of our holiday gifts. So it never hurts to get some thank you notes so you can write those. So both of those projects are going to be part of that kit. Now remember, we're going to have time here at my home on Friday evening to put it together, but if you can't make it, I can put a to-go kit together for you. So either way, I can help you have a great time putting together this fun and creative kit. The kit costs $25, and I will be billing in early January. Okay, I'm just giving this so you can mark your calendars and get ready for it. So that's one thing that I have coming up. But coming up even sooner than that, I have my open house. And I usually do vendor shows, but this year I have just not had time. And with COVID, I was kind of on the fence. So I decided I'm just going to have one here at my home. So on Saturday, I'm having a Christmas shop open house. And most of you have hopefully gotten an invitation, and I have an event out there that I am posting daily, some of the projects that we're going to be available there to purchase. Now this is one I've been working on today. This has biscotti and tea in it, and these are very, very inexpensive gifts. Most of them everything is under $5. Most of them are $3 or 2 for $5. So these are little things that you might need to have around for the UPS guy or the neighbor or the bus driver or a teacher, something just that they know you've been thinking about them. So this is something that I've been working on today. And if you check in that event on Facebook, you'll see a lot of the other ones that I'm going to have there. I'm also going to have many of these pouches there as well. I made a bunch of these. So these are also $3 or 2 for $5. So you can get lots of things for a really, really small purchase. So think about all those people that you might want to get a small little gift for. Make a list and come on over and join me on Saturday from 10 to 3. If you can't join me, you can also message me starting Saturday, and I can put together a nice little bag of your purchases and have it ready for you. So either way will work, and I hope we can see some of you on Saturday. All right, next week, this is one of my favorite new ones. Didn't I just say that at the beginning of this one? This is a cute little Christmas tree ornament. Isn't that cute? I cut out some of the paper using the stitched edge. And this color scheme for this is the Granny Apple Green, sorry, and the Magenta Madness. I just think that's such a great color. So this is the cute little thing, and you open it here on the top. So you have to slide up your little bow, and then it opens up, and there's some little treats in there, some kisses. So this will be for next week, next Tuesday. So don't forget to come back and join me. These are really quick and easy to make just as well. So hope I can see some of you on Saturday. Touch base with me if you can't make it but would like some little treats. So take care, have a great week, and have a wonderful holiday if I don't see you again. And keep on stamping. Bye-bye now.